Hi. I recently had someone ask a great question. Do you help with how past abandonment affects your present issues? The answer to that is yes, but I want you to understand that past abandonment isn't just affecting your present circumstances and issues, it is the cause of them. It's causing them. That's right. And it usually comes from feeling abandoned in childhood. And I want to explain to you how that worked. If you had a time in your childhood when you felt unsafe, unloved, abandoned, any of those things or any variation of those, like it wasn't safe to be who you really are, those things stay with you. And those versions of yourself, your younger self, are still alive and active in your adult life, and they're calling the shots in a lot of places. They're in your relationships. Now, I want to talk about abandonment just because I've got some good examples around that, but any of those, unsafe, unloved, you may have all of those things. But here's the way it works in your life. And you may have genuinely been abandoned by a parent as a child, but it could also be something as simple, and I've seen this several times with private clients, something as simple as that first time when you were sent to nursery school or kindergarten and you felt abandoned by your mother, abandoned by your parents, and it was traumatic. You store that. You've still got that, and that abandonment pattern begins and becomes a part of you. And it's the same as if you were genuinely abandoned. It's perception. Because when you're a child, you don't have the ability to really work through how and why it's happening. Your initial response to that is, okay, if I'm abandoned, that means I've either done something wrong or there's something wrong with me and I deserve to have this happen. And you take that in and you hold on to that for your whole life. But after a while of having that abandonment thing going on, or unloved, whatever it is for you, your brain begins to do something really interesting. Your brain, which is designed to keep you safe, begins to register that feeling of abandonment as your comfort zone. It becomes safe for you. Even though abandonment feels horrible, your brain goes, okay, this is survivable, therefore this is safe. And you'll have the abandonment continue to play out in your adult life. It's going to turn up in your friendships. It's going to turn up in your marriage. It's going to turn up in all of your relationships. You'll see that's happening over and over again to cause you to feel abandonment. Now, it can also turn up in your physical health because feeling abandoned is awful. And the things that go along with that, when you're abandoned, you feel grief and sadness and betrayal and loss and anger and sadness, all of those things. And because you don't have a way to deal with those emotions, they build up in your physical self. And those contribute hugely to things like chronic pain and illness. The links are unmistakable. I've seen this happen over and over and over again. So when you begin to work with pain or illness, whatever you've got going on now, we always begin with getting your childhood versions someplace where they are safe, secure, and loved, where they have been healed using your own compassion. That's the first thing that's got to happen. Because otherwise, if you don't go back and deal with the childhood wounds, this is way beyond inner child work. It's far beyond that. What I'm talking about is a very deep and profound thing. If you don't go back and work with that first, and you just work with this current relationship pattern or breakup that you've got going on, all you have done, it's like having a big hole in the wall, and all you've done is put some wallpaper over it. You're going to feel a little bit better, but that hole is still there in the wall, and that pattern is going to continue to happen. Okay? So that's the first thing that needs to happen in private work. We have to get those kids safe, secure, and loved, but then we have to go in and do the work so that your brain stops registering that as your comfort zone. If we don't do that, you're going to have that pattern continue to play out. It's really, and we've got to do that in a way that doesn't make you feel awful. It can be easy, I promise. So, working privately with me, I do not take more than 8 at one time in my private programs. Only 8. 8 spots. That's it. At any given moment. I don't work with more than 8. Does one of those need to be you? Let's have a conversation. I offer a complimentary conversation so we can talk about this. I'm going to ask a lot of childhood questions. You may already know what you have going on, but sometimes it's something simple that you hadn't expected. Let's have a conversation. Let's see if I can help you, if I feel like we're a good fit to work together. Let's chat. The link is below this. Click Show More. Talk to you soon.